We're
Hi, how are you guys?
this is awkward.
Yeah, so our camera is reversed, so it's fine.
Oh, that's why. So I was wondering what's wrong with this picture. I was like, why is our camera reversed?
Yeah.
All right, so I have to pretend like this is my good side. Oh, this is really weird. I'm doing the wrong side of my hair.
I know it's kind of hard when the camera is switched, but so glad to see you guys. And as promised earlier, we weren't able to have Mark with us because we had a lot of things that we had to get doing. We had to Mark went to the gym, and
Yeah,
then
I
when
was
he
at the
came
gym with a
back,
friend, and we had to go to Costco, and that was a trip.
to get
And oh
groceries.
yeah, here's a fine for anyone who wants it. I don't know, is it upside down? Yeah,
That's good.
yeah. This is it's. Admittedly, it's. By the way, if anybody comes live and they're from Australia, thanks for your beef because that's what this is. This is organic ground beef from Australia, and this stuff is so good. The quality of this stuff, and oh my gosh, it's way better than Costco's regular ground beef. So just a little shout out.
Yeah, so really and truly, it has been a great evening or day overall. And we're so glad that you were able to be patient with us. And we just saw someone signed on. So can you identify yourself and just say hi? Um, if not, we'll just kind of checking in on, how it has been for us. And particularly because as we're closing off our videos right now, we're kind of going into newer videos for 2026. So some of the things that we talked about the last time, as you probably saw, not really the last check-in, but our last videos on our trip. It has been a very long, you could say, experience. 3 weeks of being on the road doing all that stuff, riding for 3 weeks. It has been
Mm-hmm.
great. And one of the things that we didn't get a chance to talk about was the highlights of our trip. So if you have any questions about that, you can let us know. If you have been watching, great, thank you so much. So what was your favorite moment of the
Oh,
trip?
there's so many of them. Well, we have. Well, and by the way, for everyone's benefit, Michelle did all the videography of everyone. If he hasn't tuned in to watch the videos or whatever, everything is done by Michelle. So 99% of it is all done. Like you'll see that 99% of the videos, she edited everything, put the music in or whatever. So there might be the odd video, whatever, where the sound quality is horrible because we're up in the mountains and you can hear the um, you can hear the wind in the background. Or of course we're riding the bike, right? So we're going down the road at 100 kilometers an hour. So, but kudos goes out to Michelle on all these videos, everything to do with the editing, the quality, the putting in everything in. She does it all. I don't take any benefit. I'm just a guy in the background, really. I'm just riding the motorcycle. So she's doing all the hard work and she's passionate about it. So
So what was
yeah.
your favorite
Oh, there's so
part?
many of that. I mean, gosh, we had so many great experiences. Just saying you went to Alaska on a motorcycle. I mean, that's a mic drop moment right there. I mean, not to brag about it. I mean, but I won't try to lead anybody on. Did we travel the entire state of Alaska? No, we're going to save that for literally another trip. And the reason being behind that is originally my brother had called me, and he lives in British Columbia. And for those who are other parts of the world, that's the most northwestern point. Well, sorry, one of the most northwestern provinces of Canada. And he lives in the southern part by Vancouver, which is the most southwestern corner of British Columbia, which is right on the Pacific Ocean. And yeah, and he had called us because my birthday was coming up at the time. Michelle and I go, we take the first 3 weeks of every year off. Sorry, first 3 weeks of July off in the summertime, and we go out. And my birthday is on the 7th, so and I'm not ashamed to say anyone since want to send me some gifts. I'm cool with that. I'm just joking. Anyhow, so yeah, and so we decided to go up there. We were on the northwestern part of Edmonton, Alberta, which is one province over from British Columbia. And he had called me and said, "Come down and see me." So we had to make a detour because we originally go straight beeline right straight for Alaska, and we were going to tour the entire state of Alaska, but we never had that opportunity, unfortunately. So anyway, That's where we. So just the very point of that, which was most one of the. I'll be here for an hour. One of the most memorable points of the, at least from my perspective, on the bike was the animal life. You want to say a little bit about that?
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, um, knowing that, when you look at like pictures of animals, like especially those that are rare, I think it was last year we did the museum and we looked at some of the animals, like I think it was moose. We looked at the buffalo, we look
Hmm.
at elk and all that. It was like a small museum, and it was when we went to the eastern part of Canada. We were in Edmonton, no, not Edmonton. We were in
Newfoundland.
Newfoundland at the time. Yeah, Newfoundland. And that was actually a good opportunity for us to kind of see all these different animals that are within Canada. Anyway, so this time around, we actually saw them live. We actually, when we were riding along BC, Alberta, going through Yukon, and so on, we didn't really see anything in Alaska on our way to Alaska because that was a cloudy
Well, the
excavation.
actual point of Alaska we went to, but
Yeah,
yeah. But,
but
but just to interrupt you for a moment, we don't want to pass over that real quickly. Michelle had mentioned, again, for any of the listeners, pardon me, that aren't familiar with the geography of Canada. Yukon, you have the entire country of Canada, and the most northwestern point that leads up to Alaska. In order to get there, you have to go through British Columbia. Then there's a small province called not the, pardon me, it's just called Yukon. If anyone's ever heard of the city Whitehorse, that's just a famous old. These are all part of the Klondike. If anyone knows those terms, if you're an American, you know the Klondike. There's that whole highway they made back in the 1800s for the gold rush, and led right through the Yukon right up into Alaska. So I just thought I'd mention that. So when Michelle says the Yukon or that part, that's, you don't just go from Canada to Alaska. Pardon me, you do, but I mean, you don't just go to British Columbia. Now you're in Alaska. You have to go from British Columbia to the Yukon to Alaska. But there's a small little corner of Alaska that touches British Columbia, and that's kind of where we started. But carry on.
yeah, so one of the things that we enjoyed a lot of was actually seeing the animals on the roadside, because they were in their wild environment. So it was crazy riding alongside these animals that you would normally see in the museum. And one of the first animals that we saw a few moose along, but one of the things that was actually interesting is when we saw the is it the goats, the mountain goats,
Yeah, we
or
saw them. Yeah,
the mountain
no,
goats?
the first things we saw. The
Yeah,
very
that
first
was it.
major animals. Yeah, there were the mountain goats. They have the little horns that come up. They're only smaller animals at first, but they were right on the roadside. And if you watch, I don't know what. Do you even know the video numbers off by heart?
No,
You have to
that
follow what, like, I guess you just have to follow, like, kind of like the sequence of the provinces. Because
yeah.
once Michelle's got it, you'll start to see the consistency of her showing all the different types of animals.
Yeah, so really, that was the first thing that we saw along the
Mhm.
side of the road, and then after that,
And why let me interrupt you? What did you think of that
um,
when you first saw them?
well, we were trying to feed them candy.
I was trying to be like a dummy, and meanwhile the sign says, "Do not feed the animals, especially chocolate or whatever." I
Yeah,
forget the sign said, but I wanted to just make it kind of cool for Michelle so she could watch them feed, but they snubbed it anyways. They didn't want it.
yeah, because they don't eat that
Yeah,
stuff.
they don't even like it.
We don't know what they were trying to sniff through the dirt, but it was
Yeah, they were
weird.
snooping around.
And then, but one of the things I noticed is how their bodies are. I guess their, what do you call it? The wool is shedded because it was summer. So of course they shed in the summer and then they grow their wool in the winter. So that was kind of weird looking, and they look all dirty and all shaggy looking. It's almost like an animal, like maybe a cat or a dog who hasn't had a shower for many many moons. That's what they look like.
Homeless dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next thing that was one of the biggest highlight is seeing, it wasn't an elk, was it?
Um.
What was it again?
No, it was. Was it an elk or was it? Um. I think it. No, I don't think it was an elk. I'm trying to remember what was the other one that we saw. Not the elk. It's
I can't
my brother
remember.
told me about it. That we were going to see that. The elk I've never seen. I've driving truck. I've traveled all over North America and pretty much saw every animal. So I thought, and I forgot that I've never seen up close. I've never seen an elk, and I'm not sure if it was an elk or it was.
Yeah, I don't think it was an elk.
No, it wasn't. It was another animal. I'm trying to remember.
And it wasn't that one was not a moose.
No.
Caribou.
Caribou. That's right.
Caribou.
Caribou. That's right. Yeah, caribou.
Yeah.
That was cool. You should watch that one video because we got to see right up close. And these things, they were massive.
I mean,
Massive.
you know, when you watch movies and you see them like in the forest and stuff, and they kind of, especially if they're doing like they're trying to hunt, like, you know, those kind of animals and stuff, like you actually see that on the side of the road. The people, you know, there was a long lineup of people waiting to see it and videotape, you know, the animals there. So anyway, and then once we saw that, then we saw the buffaloes as we were riding along on the side of the road as well. That was interesting to see the buffaloes. We really didn't expect to see them crossing, and they were actually in large quantities. There were one group of people there. So, and there was a bus of people as well. So that was interesting coming through that. And we were the only persons on a motorcycle. So it was interesting to see that. And the buffaloes when we were riding along. And it was scary actually, because
yeah, that was crazy. The buffalo, and you know what? And like I said, driving truck, I've seen every animal, know it, and I know buffalo still existed and so on and so forth, but I never seen them in the wild. And to be honest with you, as uneducated as I am in that point, I really thought that they literally were only on farms. Like I know people, a lot, especially Americans, they have a large. We have a lot of. I mean, back in the 17 and 1800s, buffalo roamed wild through North America, in certain specific parts of the continent. But I thought I thought they just literally stayed on farms. And then we were going through the Yukon, and it said, I think it said something like, the sign said, beware wild buffalo next 75 kilometers. And I said to Michelle, I was like, did I read that right? Wild buffalo? No. I think it was just a moose. And of course, sure enough, again, don't want to spoil the video for you. We'll let you watch the video. The video was amazing. But sure enough, we come around a bend. No, do we see one buffalo? No, we literally see a herd of buffalo crossing the highway. And in the video, you'll see a bus. And I think it's a bus and another motorcycle and a car.
No, there was no motorcycle.
No motorcycle? Okay.
We were the only one, but they were on the oncoming
they were in the oncoming.
And we were the only one going to the other direction.
And when we got close to them, you'll see, like I said, I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
But it was crazy because...
and they're massive.
So look at us. And then think about us two, like, you know, in front of each other on a motorcycle. And then think of sitting while these things are crossing the road. Right. And huge. Their heads. Their head is like
their head
both are
bigger than their bodies. Like they're just massive. And by the way, one of the cool parts about it, we got closer and we realized the government of Canada, specifically the province of the Yukon, they've tracked them down. I'm sure via helicopter, and tracked them down and tagged them all. They had big things around. I think it was around their throats or around their bodies. They had these great like purple or blue tags.
I was wondering what it was.
And they're just roaming free, and they're just going, so that I guess they can keep track of them. I'm sure it's like tracking devices. So they something like that. But yeah.
So that was interesting. So so those were the things that were that stood out to me, actually, you know, seeing the actual animals live. It's almost like, you know, you're going through a zoo.
It's like Jurassic
zoo.
Park. Yeah.
And when you're riding, it's kind of scary because you don't know what's going to happen while you're on a bike. And one of the other things too is riding through the night sometimes, because we don't know what can jump out at us, especially going through certain roads, you know, like it was very remote. Nobody else is on there. Yeah. So we were kind of like just at the mercy of God, really riding in the night and stuff. So those were some of the things. And that was what made our trip very exciting, because every day was different. Though you're riding, and though you might see, our video is just like, you know, it looks like we're just riding along a long journey, and maybe nobody's behind us, nobody in front of us. It's just like us alone on the road sometimes.
Tell them about the literally the light exposure in regards to daytime, nighttime.
You mean like when we went to the Yukon?
Yeah, tell them what you experienced. Both of us experienced it for the first time. I'll let you tell the story.
Oh, so when we were riding, we couldn't believe the time of the night or the time of the day.
What's the terminology they use?
Midnight sun.
Land of the midnight sun. I'll let Michelle tell you.
So that was a big highlight, because when you actually are riding, particularly because we were going through province after province, it was very obvious in terms of the time change. And so while you're riding, and then you're noticing that, okay, the sun is still up, it's not setting. And then you're riding and you realize that it's getting later and later, and the night is not coming down. Another thing that we noticed too is not only that the night does not come down early, but also the night doesn't last long, because the night is only like a couple hours or three. I don't know how many.
There
isn't any night.
There isn't any night. I mean,
you never get a night.
No, there's no. Then the real, as we move further northwest, our first stop in the Yukon, when we got in there, I forget the name. What was the name of the town? It literally is a town. Like, it literally is a dot in a map, barely if you're left. But long story short,
in the Yukon.
Yeah, we originally, I forgot about the whole concept of the fact that the sun.
We're at the St. Anne Hotel.
St. Anne, that's right, St. Anne, Yukon. But St. Anne
is the hotel.
Sorry, I forget the name of the town. But regardless, when we were traveling, we were making our plans, because every day we would have an itinerary, right? And I would try to plan it the best I could in regards to time frames, right? Because we don't want to really be, as a motorcycle rider, as anyone could appreciate, you don't want to be driving in the dark if you can help it. So long story short, I looked at the time and I noticed it was getting on in time, and I said, well, we're not gonna make it to the hotel probably till almost midnight. So it's gonna be a long time. And I thought, that's kind of strange. So as we went out, and I'm like, and I kept saying to Michelle, it almost seems like it's just not getting darker. And she goes, it's not. And then it just clued in. He's like, oh, dum. It's land of the midnight sun. And we rode into our very first, we have, I think Michelle uploaded a video when we rode into the hotel at the St. Anne's Hotel. First thing we saw there, and ironically, the first thing we saw there, the funny part about it, was a motorcycle gang, a literal Hell's Angel motorcycle gang. That was just hilarious. But my point was,
and then we had a visitor.
Yeah. You'll see the video, but we'll leave that for you so you can go see it. It's funny. But when we rode in there, it was like 12 o'clock. It was still light out. Now, I'm granted not as light as it would be like at 10 o'clock on a sunny summer afternoon, but it's like when you're driving, the sun's getting ready to go down, and it's getting just dusk, as they would call it. That's what it is. But there's no darkness. There's no pitch dark black. You could continue to ride forever and it never gets dark.
Yeah, so that was one of the things that was really a big thing for us, going through the Yukon and not seeing night during that time. So that was very exciting, because, and also it was beneficial to us, because riding so late at night, going into the town, that particular day was a good day that we were able to see the night didn't come to fruition, basically, and morning was just around the corner, and it was still light outside. And so that was also very good.
Why don't you share them about your experiences, and shockingly, all our experiences regarding the weather.
Oh yeah, so that's the reason why. I don't know if you noticed that when the initial part of our videos, we got sick, and one of the reasons is because we had from one extreme to the next. Like, the weather was crazy. I mean, and we weren't really prepared at first for going through, on the bike. Because
no, we were prepared. That's not fair. We were prepared.
No, but not to the extent. So we were prepared with the clothing, but we didn't put them on at
No,
first.
no. Hold on. We were prepared for what we assumed was going to take place, which was
You mean
the fact
summer?
that it's 3 weeks in summer. Who would have thought? Yeah, but being green and not realizing, I mean, we're going to the northwestern
So
part of it.
were we
Were
really
not. We were
prepared?
ill prepared. No, but we were prepared in our minds. And going, oh, we got a jacket. We got a sweater. We got some rain gear. We're fine. We'll be perfectly fine. No problem at all. Wrong. We were fiercely wrong. We got there and it was cold.
So this is
Cold.
something. This is something that is good for us to learn, and also for us to share. That when you're traveling, you should always check to see ahead of time what the overall weather will be. And I know sometimes you don't really get 3 weeks of weather, but you can always check to see what the previous year was.
But it's summertime. I mean, that's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. But I mean,
It's good to learn.
admittedly, I mean, I'm not a novice rider. I know what to expect, and I know what I travel all over North America, if you will. But admittedly, I've never been on the bike northwest in the summertime. And although we should have gotten a rude awakening, we already should have known that the weather isn't as always as it seems. Because if you followed us when we went to Newfoundland, it was freezing there. We actually ran into, it was minus, what is it? And we were in St. Anthony, the most northwestern part of Newfoundland. We woke up in the morning, it was -8. -8 in July.
So I have a question. So is it like in terms of Edmonton versus the Yukon, would it be the same height
No.
in terms of
Oh,
elevation?
in elevation?
Like in terms of the position. So if you go east and
No,
west.
because if you're looking at a map, for the sake of our conversation, Edmonton is here in regards to the long longitude, right? Is going east to west here, but you're way up. You're like this, like complete difference. It's like for the sake of, for those who are Americans or those who know North American geography, it's like being in Ohio and then looking up towards like the state of Washington.
Yukon is closer to the
it's
the north.
well, it is the north. That's the end, right in the Northwest Territory. So anyway, but we just never experienced it. So anyone who ever travels that, I mean, maybe I'm just wasn't keen enough on the idea, and maybe it wasn't as quote unquote as traveled as I claimed to be. So the reality is we got caught in the proverbial sense with our pants down, and like I think we had to go buy. Didn't we have to stop off and buy some more gear?
And we did the same thing last year. So we did the same thing.
Oh, we brought the stuff that we had in Newfoundland. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. No problem there. Yeah, wrong again.
And we did the same thing again. We had to purchase clothing in the Yukon, but that was interesting. And then after that, then we don't want to spoil the video because there's about a couple more or one more video for our travels coming this week. Is going to be posted on the weekend, so we don't want to spoil it in terms of what happened. So when we thought it was the last leg of our trip, we had a surprise.
Oh yeah,
and this is why it
was the last leg of our trip. But let's just put it this way: we'll give you just a small teaser.
Don't say this.
I'm not going to tell them anything. They won't even be able to guess. It certainly was. One, we thought we were at the last leg of the trip. We had to add another leg to the trip. That's all I'm going to tell you. And you'll find out why. You have to come and see. So
yeah, we had to add another leg to the trip.
But you asked me. I didn't get to. What were your favorite highlights of the trip?
My favorite highlight was when we went on the helicopter. I think I was.
Yeah, that was cool.
I think I was so excited because that was my first time going on a helicopter. Was that your first time?
Yeah, I've never been on a helicopter before.
So it was.
Tell them quickly how that come about.
It was both our first.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was
virgin helicopter riders.
Yes. And by the way, that was also a good opportunity for us to.
But tell them how we come about finding. We did not plan.
You can share that, but yeah. So how we came about that, because we saw someone in a town which was south of Prince George or something, and he was just kind of sharing. He's not from there. He's from. Is it Switzerland?
No, he's from the UK.
No, it's not UK.
Yes, pardon me. He's from Australia.
Australia.
That's right.
So he was from Australia, and he was explaining that where we are.
He was a helicopter pilot.
Right, but what he was really keen on saying, he comes to Canada very regularly, and why he comes, because we have one of the best glaciers in the world, and I didn't know that.
Actually, that's not. No, that's not
He
why
said that's what he said because he
No, no,
likes
hold
to
on.
ride over it.
No. The guy, you're the Pelican. I think maybe you're misconstruing a couple stories. The reason he was there is he works there. He flies the workers up to the top of the glacier.
Oh
and
yes,
they
he
do
does.
drilling. That's why he was there. So,
but he fell in love with ours, so he keep coming back.
oh
every
yeah,
year.
that
He
part
fell
is
in
true,
love
but
with
that's
our
the reason he was
glaciers
there.
because, and he also recommended for us to go and enjoy the glacier ride. And he, what is his name again? Toby.
I think
Toby.
you're right, yeah.
Toby. He was a very very good you could say salesman because he encouraged us to go on that ride.
And we only met him by chance. We were stopped out on the native reservation. We needed some gas, and we just pulled into this lodge. And actually, we were getting hungry because Michelle had said she's really, really famished because we don't stop much on the bike other than to quick gas and get out. We didn't want to be consuming food all day long and so on and so forth. So I said, let's just pull in here. We went in here, went in to eat, and sure enough, one thing led to another. And who was sitting at the table across from us? And he wasn't even entertaining the conversation with us. He was just simply he was just sitting across. And I think you started talking to him before I did, didn't you?
Yeah, because you were going at the counter to find out what foods the lady had and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was, and it's just by chance, like everything happened by chance. Because
remember the food? The food was unbelievable.
I think we had.
She made that she made that homemade mushroom soup.
Oh yes, you remember everything.
Oh yeah, I remember that kind of stuff. And it turns out the reason that the pilot was in there is because they kind of don't give food to the public. They do a little bit, but the reservation they cater to all the drillers, because the drillers go up in the glaciers and do all the special drilling, and that's what he was there for. So we went in there because we just sat there and go, nobody's serving us. It's kind of it's hard to explain how it was set up. It wasn't set up like a restaurant. It was kind of like some different rooms, and we're like, we're just sitting here. I guess I don't know what are we doing here. And then that's how I think the pilot said, no, you want to get food, you have to go through the door and go see the lady. And we went over to the lady, and then one thing led to another, and then we came back and he began to tell us about it. And that's when he was talking. I think I went. Remember, he was talking to you before he was talking.
Exactly,
to me.
because I was just asking, and normally I don't talk to strangers. Not to say that I'm antisocial, but I tend to be more reserved in terms of talking and sharing stuff. So when I actually, saw the person sitting there, I said, "Hey, how are you? How are you from these parts?" But then I noticed his accent, because I think I'd asked him where's the washroom, or I asked him one question, and I noticed that his accent was different. And I said, "Oh, you're not from here. Where are you from?" And he said he's from Australia. And then that's when the conversation started. And that's when he was able to share with us what was happening with regards to the helicopter ride and stuff. And yeah, his name is Toby. So if you're in Stewart, and
Stewart, that's what it was. Yeah. We got 2 minutes left, babe. So what do you want to talk about?
So that's basically what we wanted to share. We just wanted to say thank you again for watching all our videos. We didn't get to go into that as much in terms of our recap. This was a good opportunity for us to recap, as well as we wanted to share that the next videos that we're going to have next is my time on the motorcycle, what happened when I did that training. So for those who are interested in that, I know not everybody is interested in that, but we will just continue to share that. And we're going to try to do check-in with you on a weekly basis when we get the time. So let us know if that's something that you're interested in, because we don't get to do this all the time, but whenever we can, just let us know if this is something you're interested in. And so with that said, we appreciate all of you who have joined. We saw people coming on and off. I know Sunday is a busy time, especially during this time. It's usually dinner time. So we understand. But this morning it was a little bit off because we had a lot to get done. And being that, we had to get food because we had no food. we pretty much went to Costco, get the food. Well, my husband here, he's very instrumental in making sure that we have food in the house, always buying groceries and stuff. And by the way, ladies, I just wanted to, he's always giving me props, but he's right here. And I just want to share my thoughts in terms of how he is. He's a good man in terms of, he takes care of me very much. Always doing things to make sure that I'm okay. He cooks all the meals, guys. And
let me interrupt. I don't cook all the meals because I'm an amazing chef by any stretch of the imagination.
So
I'm interrupting on purpose. I don't want her to pump me up Oh, speaking of chicken pot pies, I don't want her to pump me up like I'm some amazing chef and I'm cooking filet mignon every night. She loves the food that I cook. I'm a staples guy, being the fact we were both on the same page in regards to nutrition. So we eat the same foods. We just basically eat nothing but high protein, low carbohydrate. We eat
Yeah,
vegetables.
because we have to
That's
stay
it.
fit, and as people in our 50s, we have to
Mhm.
maintain our physique. So we go
No,
to the
we just like to
gym,
stay
we
healthy.
do a lot of things to keep ourselves in shape and young. And one of the things someone said recently, that we kind of look like we're in more 30s to 40s, early 30s. I mean, wherever, somewhere there. I don't even know what they're saying, because I don't even know what people are seeing. But anyway, we're not even talking about that. We're really talking about this man here. He's a really good man, and I really appreciate the fact that he's always making sure that he cooks, and he cleans. He does a laundry, actually. So I just sit and just stay pretty.
Nobody cares about this stuff. But
Yes.
anyways, thanks for the props.
Yes.
But
So yes, you
speaking of
do. You
food,
do.
we
I
got.
really appreciate that. So
No, it's all
Auntie
right.
just put the chicken pot pie in the oven, and it's ready to go.
And
So
no, I did not make that myself. I'm not that handy.
it
By
was a
God's grace,
Costco packet.
Costco, they have an. If you got to get it, if you're from Canada or maybe United States, they have chicken pot pie, and it's relatively pretty good on the calories. It's not too bad, but we took kind of our treat for the weekend because that's it. But anyways, it's beeping, so we
So
gotta
yeah,
go.
so guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for giving the thumbs up. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your love as usual. Please, if you haven't done so, subscribe. If you have friends, family, all those people who are in your vicinity, please let them know about us. If you have something that you want us to share, please let us know. And don't be shy. We are willing to respond to you. And for all those, we thank you again. All those who have joined today, all those who continually watch our videos, and not only that, but make some very positive comments. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And we only have about one more video left or so before we wrap it up for 2025, and we're going to start with new stuff for 2026. If you have any ideas, please shoot us a message, and we will definitely do that which you are asking. As
Yeah.
usual, we say,
Let's keep it real.
let's keep it real. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Baby, how come nobody showed up?